everyone, thanks for stopping by. I'm Kara Elizabeth, a 3-5 emotional manifestor, here to provide you with your weekly energetic weather report via human design, a system that combines aspects of astrology, the I Ching, the chakra system, and the Kabbalistic tree of life. Now, every human design journey begins with looking up your unique human design chart, and you can do that at www.myhumandesign.com. Transits are the specific energies that are present in the universe at any given moment. I go over the sun and earth, the sun being our main experience and the earth being how we're grounding in it. And each transit tends to hang around for about 6 days. Now, my goal is to provide you with a general cosmic heads up on how you can expect to feel, what you can expect to experience, and how to best navigate your week. So if you're ready to go, let's get started. All right, you guys, so it is that time of the week again. The transits have officially shifted. So the sun has shifted into gate 39, which is all about the gate of provoking. And the earth has shifted into 38, which is the gate of the fighter. So enough said about that, right? So we're still transiting through the root center. So just like last week, this is an energy center, but the energy has to build first. So we have to create pressure there, and we have to allow that energy time to build before we take action. So you could still be noticing that you may feel a little bit more pressured to take action than normal, but this is a normal experience of that root, especially if you are undefined or open in this center. You may be feeling it a little bit more than someone who normally has this in their chart. So anyways, we number one, going to have a little bit more energy than normal. It's just going to work a little bit differently. It's got to build first before the action. And we are going to be getting provoked and nudged by, that could come from a number of different places. So it could be coming from your kids, just other people in general. It could be coming directly from the universe. You know, it's kind of like, well, who knows? It's just pretty personal. It's going to be personalized just for you, and you're going to be served up exactly what it is that you need to get out of whatever pattern you're in. Now, I also don't want, to put any fear out there for you about this provoking, because I know we tend to think of being provoked as like a negative thing. We've been conditioned to believe that. But, it's like we could be provoked to have more fun. It doesn't have to necessarily be a negative thing. So, because it's really not. Because whatever it is that we're being nudged or, use the word provoked in, it's going to be for our greatest good. And it's trying to get us on the path that we're meant to be on. And it's trying to get us to do the things that we're meant to be doing right now. So think of it like that. You could just be going to be provoked to have more fun, to bring more fun into your life. Who knows? So let's just go ahead and dive right on in and see what Jenna Zoe has to say about this one. So she calls this one the gate of the rousing spirit. So, and she has like a couple of different things for this one. So on the surface level, she says that the gift of 39 is here to shake things up. You have been given this naturally provocative, playful, and even flirtatious energy. Because you're here to jolt people awake a bit, and to do this, you have to make an impact. So also think of this as like a very manifestory type of energy, just because, you're going to come in, shake things up, whether that be, a negative or positive experience for you. It's all about your perspective on it anyways. But it's all about coming in, shaking things up to make the impact. So it's to get you to open your eyes about something that you need to open them up to. So now on a deeper level, you're here to bring emotion out of others so that they can feel more in touch with their spirit. Most of us are on automatic, half asleep mode through most of our days, and yet we all want to feel more alive and connected to our inner self. So you are here to bring us closer to that, which not just you, but it's all of humanity this week and for the next 6 days. So because of this, it's good for you to rock the boat, to rouse people a little bit, or to try and get a reaction out of them. The intention that you put behind it is your biggest work. And when you do it for things that will help connect people to their human, emotional, spirit side, you're living your divine purpose. So think about the times people feel most alive. It's when their inner spirit is roused. Whether that's from a movie that really stirred something in them, from a passionate conversation with a loved one, or a situation that came along and really made them pay attention. It doesn't really matter what it is. But when you are unafraid to spark people awake, whatever avenues and passions you put your energy into will have the ability to move people to the core in this way. So how can we best flex this energy? A couple of different things she mentions. And the first one is letting go of people's initial reactions to you. So whether they have a good or a bad reaction to it at the beginning doesn't really matter. What matters is, have you woken them up out of their daze and roused emotions that were stirring under their surface? If so, you have elevated them, no matter whether they felt happy about it initially or not. Making their spirit stir sets off a chain of inner journeying and, why did I say it like that? Reverse. Making their spirit stir sets off a chain of inner journeying and feeling that can lead them to becoming more alive, more self-aware, and more on purpose. So let's talk about something that Kara decided to do last night. So we were at my grandparents' and they're both in their 80s. And they're both having a hard time like getting up and moving around. So my grandfather broke his hip not long ago. And then on top of that, he had a stroke before that. And so it's like he was doing physical therapy for the stroke. He got better. Then he ended up, he had a fall and he broke his hip. And now he's still in physical therapy for that. And just, he's having a hard time. You know, he was... he's so used to being so active, going outside and just, piddling around and things. And he just really can't do those things anymore the way that he used to. And now he's a reflector. And so we're not even going to go into that. But he's, my grandparents have been married for a whole lot of years, probably like close to 50 years at this point or more. I can't even tell you, that's sad. But anyways, and my granny's a generator. So just FYI, like my papa has been, they've been together a long time. He's been conditioned in that way, like very healthily, might I add. So, that's why he's 86 years old, going on 87, and he's a reflector. He's very healthy, up until, recently. But anyways, and then my granny is a generator, which she's also having a hard time because, she's used to moving, obviously being very active, and her legs are bothering her knees especially. And so they're having a hard time, I feel like. And, just somebody who grew up with them and is very close to them, it's very difficult for me to watch. Because it's almost, they're just in a different place in life, and they're having a hard time, and I feel like I'm having a hard time with it too. But I don't want to continue harping on that. But where I'm going with this is last night we're over there, and it's like I just felt like such a sad energy, and I could have been projecting that on them. I mean, they may not have been sad at all. I really don't know. But I felt sad, and I felt sad for them. And so I just decided, I'm like, they need some fun in their life. They need some OG Kara time is what they need. So, I start getting in on them, talking about how I wanted to have an adult sleepover with them like I used to, because I was over there every single weekend having, sleepovers with my grandparents, and it was the time of my life. And I would like to think that it was the time of theirs too. So, we're just going to go on believing that. But anyway, so I'm like talking to them about how, I want to come back over like one night and have a slumber party with them, like sleep in the bed with my granny like I used to, and instead of like them getting up in the morning and making me breakfast, I would get up and obviously like make breakfast for them. Like, let's make some coffee. I was like, let's just go. Like, I want to relive my childhood. And, we were just like having fun, with that and just like reminiscing on some things. And then out of nowhere, I'm just like, you know what, y'all still, this ain't enough fun. So I'm like, y'all, we need to tap into that. And so, I just start like joking around with my papa, and cause he doesn't really talk a lot anymore, just because, he's hard to understand now because of the stroke, and he gets like a little self-conscious about that. So he doesn't really say much anymore because he gets pissed off when somebody doesn't understand what he's saying. So, anyways, he's just sitting there still, and no smile has cracked across his face. And I'm like, I'm going to get this dude to smile. So I just start playing music and just start like dancing like Wild Woman in front of him. And I'm like, you're going to pay attention to me. Like, we're going to have fun, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And so I start dancing. And then of course, Indy chimes in, my daughter, she starts dancing, and I promise it was like so much fun. And I don't even know if I'm able to like convey the fun through my voice right now, because it is like 6:00 in the morning. But it was like I was already tapping into this energy and provoking their asses to enjoy life. Like, find some ways that you can enjoy life, because this seems boring. This seems like you're lacking a little bit of fun. So let me come in and shake shit up a bit and, just go wild in front of you. And, please, like, take some of my juice. Okay. So anyways, I feel like that was me tapping into this gate last night, or me tapping into this transit energy, and me provoking them to just bring back a little bit more fun and joy. And so anyways, long story long, let's continue on to the next. So how else can we flex this energy? And she says it's embrace wanting attention. Okay. Before I go any further, I love an audience. I'm a manifestor. I love when people watch me. I love when I feel like people are interacting with me and I'm making an impact. And that's just how it is. I love attention. And especially attention from people that I love. Now, I don't really want attention if I don't like you, but that's a whole other different story. But like my grandparents, pay attention to me. I want your attention. I want your love. And I want us to have a good time. And so this was also part of it. And I remember specifically saying, like, I miss Papaw's attention, because, it's like when you get older, like, because my Papaw just loves children, which, duh, like, he's a reflector. So he loves, like, getting in and reflecting children's energy. I mean, who wouldn't? It's like a child is so pure. They're lacking that conditioning that we have. They're their authentic self. They're in their energy. It's like that you're in your prime, as a child. And I'm sure that feels amazing to him as a reflector to tap into that and reflect back that, that playful childlike energy. And, so it's like as you get older, you kind of lose that. And And so, of course, he tends not to pay attention to you anymore. He tends to not desire to reflect you anymore. And so I was like, Papa, I was like, I need your attention. I miss it. I miss your attention. I miss you paying attention to me and, blah, blah, blah. Look at me. Look at me. And so I was totally doing this to him last night, you guys. It was... Y'all, I'm 37 years old and I give no shits. For real, when I tapped in last night, I tapped into 5-year-old Kara. And it was the funnest fucking time I've had in a very long time. So I advise you, if you want to do that this week, do it. It was so fun. Okay, so anyway, she says, you are made to seek attention because that's the universe's way of making sure that your provocation gets noticed. Attention is only a bad thing to want if it's coming from a negative place. Last night was not. So if it's because you know that it's necessary for you to fulfill your mission, it's divine and totally aligned. Cool. So me busting out 5-year-old Kara was totally divine and totally aligned. Okay, anyways, now where can we struggle here? So where can we block ourselves in this energy? And she says it's by suppressing your own emotions. So if you're afraid to express the fullness of your own emotions, you dull your ability to spark it in others. You would only do this because society teaches us that it's more grown up and together to be more emotionless. But you are here to help us come back to remembering that it's feeling, not thinking, that helps us get to know who we are. And then we can also block ourselves here in rousing people when you yourself are reactive. So this is the most important one this week, and especially since all of humanity is experiencing this energy, they may not, and especially if they don't already have this defined in their chart, it's not going to be a normal experience for them. But if they're lacking experience here in tapping into this energy and using this, this is where the struggle can come in. And this is where people can get really mean with it. So she says, anger is a temporary state that happens when you feel you have been wronged. It's what we call an initial feeling rather than a true feeling. And if you follow it, it will guide you towards a deeper feeling or feelings, such as fear, sadness, or apathy. And when you provoke from a place of anger, you haven't gotten to your true emotions yet. And so any provocation created from that space will not elevate others either. Work through your initial reactions in private and then turn them into self-knowledge and becoming more whole in yourself. And then go out into the world and make your magic. So now my partner experienced this aspect of it yesterday, I feel like, when he went into the Walmart and he had to deal with the people of Walmart. So, which I think what it was, because I get like this too, is, if he doesn't take enough time for himself and, fill up his own cup, it's really hard to deal with other people. And I'm saying it like that for a reason. So, I find it that when I'm well rested, when I feel like I've been really tapping into that self-care, taking care of myself, and, feeling good and have enough energy, then I feel like I'm just more equipped to deal with whatever it is that comes my way. Dealing with 10 different angry people that comes my way. I can deal with that if I'm in a good spot, if I'm, well rested and yada, yada, yada. And so I feel like he was not those things because he's a generator, but he's also been super frustrated lately. And so, and just overworked. And so he's not been in like a great space, and that's just kind of life right now. He's trying to figure out more of like a work-life balance right now. So it's just part of his process. There's nothing wrong with him being in this space. So I want to throw that out there too. But he goes into Walmart, which is like probably one of the worst fucking places to go in when you're already in a like kind of like a bad mood anyways, or like, low energy anyways. And so of course, like he dealt with the people of Walmart. And like there was a couple people that he actually like, this is so not like him either, because he's a super nice guy, and he's usually like so patient and just on the chill. But yesterday he was not, and I mean I thought it was funny, but like he went off on a couple of people in there, like even like cussed at him. Which is like, when he was telling me this, I was like, oh, what? What did you really say that to them? Like out loud? So it's like, I'm over here just like laughing and giggling at it, which I guess just like provoked him to just, like not get down on himself about that, or like not stay in that angry energy. But, but it's like really if you get down to it, his anger, I mean, I cannot speak for him, but just from the outside looking in, like his anger probably has a lot to do with just, like the frustration of the not self, the sadness, also the apathy of like, him not doing work that, is like lighting him up right now. There's just probably a lot of things to unpack there. But of course, like it came out as anger, and I'm sure he provoked them from a space of anger, into something, which, you just have to trust, even if you do this, because we're human, like shit like this is going to happen, and it's fine. Just don't beat yourself up about it. It's like, you just have to know and trust that in that situation, if you did react from this space that she's referring to, just know that it was perfect as it is, and it just is what it is. So just don't harp on it for too long if you do get in this space, which would be normal if you do, because this can be a difficult energy. Okay, so that's that. Now let's move into how we're grounding this week. And we're grounding through gate 38, which is known as the gate of the fighter. Jenna Zoe refers to this one as taking a stand. So she says that the gift 38 is a very primal gift. This is the matriarchal or patriarchal protector, that's a mouthful, that isn't afraid to go into battle for love. Those who possess it love a fight because they know that on the other side of it, when done with the right consciousness, they can reach or create a better situation than the one in front of them right now. They're not discouraged by problems or obstacles, and they have the willingness to cut through them. They are stubborn, persistent, and love to get their hands dirty and feel alive when they're fighting. And that's all a good thing. These things are all here to support you living your highest purpose, and they're pointing you towards living the life of a warrior, where you're the one among us who doesn't give up the road to a better life, better way, better relationships, just because there is some shit that needs to be addressed or overcome in order to make it happen. The only thing that determines whether a gift is negative or positive is the consciousness with which we use it. We need people who are unafraid to back down when tensions arise, and we need people who are here to fight the good fight. This is what you're here for. This is the gift 38. And this is what all of us are going to be experiencing and grounding in this week. So, how can we flex this gift? And that is by fighting with an open heart. So we have been taught to fight with a me versus you mentality, but you are here to pioneer fighting with togetherness and love. You can call people out lovingly. You can point out what people did wrong with understanding and compassion. And when they close up or get defensive, you can stay at a high vibration of lovingly engaging. This is not only the route of creating better outcomes after a fight, but of also modeling the kind of conflict that people feel safer doing. So this is someone who is not going to be afraid of conflict. This is someone who is going to view conflict in the most loving space possible, because they see that through the conflict, it leads back to love. And also, it's going to be like a much greater love that's going to be cultivated through that if you just work your way through with this. But see, most people are terrified of conflict. Myself included. I've been working through that because I've been trying to get to this space right here to view conflict from a different perspective. And so this is what this is all about. And I love that we're grounding here this week, especially with our main experience being all about provoking. And then we're grounding here through the conflict that can bring up and holding a high vibration through the conflict, because we see that it's taking us back to love and that we're fighting for that love. So it's really beautiful. And then another thing she talks about as how we can best flex this energy is by figuring out what you stand for. So if you don't feel like you're fighting a good fight and helping the world, whether that's your world or the wider world, become better, then you feel purposeless and restless. You can even lose your passion and enthusiasm for life. So look around at what makes you mad or impassioned, what you feel is unjust or simply could be better. And those are exactly the areas that you are meant to head right into and get involved in. So now, what can block us here? So where can we struggle? And she says it's by keeping it inside. So because you need to be taking a stand to feel alive, if you haven't found your causes and your mission, you could unconsciously be picking fights or taking things out on people without knowing it. This gift is wanting to come out, and it would rather come out somewhere than not at all. Similarly, if you try to bottle it up because you only have negative associations with being a fighter, then you will be tired all the time or create pent-up tension or aggression. So the more you funnel this incredible gift towards things that really matter to you, the more at peace in yourself you're going to be. And with that, I want to leave you with this quote that a friend of mine posted yesterday, and I thought that it was so perfect for this energy. So she posted, "Failure is impossible." And it's so true here. And it's so true with both of these energies that we're dealing with right now. Failure is impossible when you've given everything that you've got. Period. You always become one step closer to success every day when you just simply show up. And this is going to go for just your life in general. Yes, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to be in the lower expression of these energies. And that's okay, as long as you don't let that stop you and you keep fucking going. So remember that. Failure is impossible. Just as long as you keep going and you give it everything you've got and you just do your best. That's it. So with that, I'm going to leave you there, and I will see you next week.